Hello everybody, Panzer Penguin here once more with another video. This one, instead of being some gameplay, is going to detail the mods I'm running for my current playthrough as Rome, along with some, like an introduction to the mod that I'm using, so that if you've seen things in the videos I've produced that you have no idea what they are, this may answer some of those questions. So hopefully you'll all be able to enjoy this. So let's get started. So the mods I'm running, the main mod, which is a complete overhaul, is the Divide et Impera, which is the divide and rule translation mod. It comes in 6 parts. I mean, it takes like 10 seconds to download once you subscribe. Some of these mods may be a little redundant. I'm not really sure for 100% if they're already included in the mod. I haven't been able to find a list. One that I know isn't, or a few that I know that aren't, is the No Civil War Emperor Edition. Basically, it just increases the requirements needed to launch the Civil War to a point where it just won't happen, or as far as I'm aware, it just won't happen. And the reason I do that is because I want to make a Roman Empire. I don't want to be doing all good and everything, and then have half of my army desert and fight me. So that's why I run that. The Better Water mod, and I'll just show you real quick. So the original is this sort of whitish water, not all that great looking, while the mod, as we've seen in the gameplay, is a much darker color, and these images don't really do justice. It looks much better in game. The 4 turns per year with the seasonal effects we've seen, I think they're already included, along with the Dresden Sack Liberation diplomatic options. Just improves the diplomacy essentially, and what you can do when you conquer a city. Sell your slaves, I'm pretty sure, is already included as well, but it lets you have a province edict that sells your slaves, and you may have seen me do it once or twice already. While it's a small world after all, yes, that is that Disney ride, the little picture thing, as you can read here. So those small little one city factions can only fill 2 armies, and takes away their bonus income. I mean, I'm struggling enough as Rome right now to fill 4 fully stacked armies, and I own 2 or 3 provinces, while these little 1 province places used to be able to do that pretty easily. What else do I have here? So the no PO garrison negative is basically it removes the negative effect of stationing your garrisons in cities. Not that I have any in cities very often, but it would make more sense to me that a garrison of soldiers reduces the public disorder and makes it more orderly, since you've got troops patrolling the streets and basically more police force. The ancient empires, I haven't really played it. It's a large, or not, I don't know what the best term. So DEI, which is the nickname of the mod I'm playing, has a whole bunch of official submods, and Ancient Empires is one of them. But it further changes the gameplay. For instance, Rome starts at war with Carthage and Syracuse, and has a different variety of troops, I suppose. Something I may explore later down the line. These 2 particle mods here basically just enhance the cinematic effects, while the closer deployment zone, as the name implies, allows you to have your armies closer at the start of the battle. No Fog of War is not a mod I run. It's essentially a modding tool that lets you see everything. So when I show you guys the mod here in a minute, you'll be able to see everything on the map. I turn that off when I do our gameplay for obvious reasons. While the Full God-esque icons pack is that new icon pack we saw in our last video. And these other 3, well, with the exception of the music mod on the top, which I decided it's finally time to put some awesome music back in the game. These other 2 are not ones I've used yet. I was just looking at some of the mods, and they popped up on the screen. And I've heard of the more aggressive AI. Makes the AI focus more on building quality armies with quality troops and defending their territory, instead of kind of suicide attacking you. the projectiles mod there uh, supposedly makes the projectiles like arrows and javelins more realistic in range and damage and effect. So I probably won't turn that on until I do a whole new playthrough and see what happens with that. And obviously the Rome Total War music is from the original Rome 1 game. Um, and we'll take a look at everything right now. So Steam makes things easy. You can easily turn things off on the mod manager. Shows you what you have installed and what you have selected, what's in date and what is out of date. So everything I have is up to date. Ironically, midway through my original recording, my video driver updated, and I had just watched a video saying that when you run this, you should always check to make sure your driver is up to date before recording. I apparently wrongly assumed that it was up to date, so started recording, and then it crashed the game, and it was like, oh, updating your driver. So, lesson learned with that. So here you go, improved music. Take you guys to a new campaign. It doesn't really matter. The music may be a little loud, so I may turn it down here once I get loaded in. As you can see, the DEI mod has new splash screens. Also, down there in that little text bar shows you not only some historical quotations by famous people, but also some facts about the gameplay and what certain things do and mean. As you can see, it doesn't take long for the game to load. Despite the graphics, we don't care about all this. Not sure why it keeps doing that. Here we can see the improved water. Let me just I feel like the sound, I guess it's not. I guess he does recommend 50. Alright, so with the fog of war turned off, I have to kill my spy and then recruit a new one.
What do you wish of me?
Unless, of course, I forgot to turn that mod on, which looks like is something I may have done. I mean, I had it off the last time I played, but I was pretty sure it reset. So maybe I should pay more attention. So yeah, so it probably is off because I have those turned off. So let's turn that back on. And try this again. I apologize for wasting a couple minutes of doing that, but well. Surprised there's no, I guess, no, it wasn't 2014. This game's been out for a few years now. Once again, we'll do the grand campaign. Different splash screen this time, a pretty gory one. By the looks of things, those Romans were killed in battle and then purposely impaled on those giant spikes. Kind of looks like they may be in front of the cliffs of Dover. Giant white cliffs like that. At the same time, that boat there on the right kind of looks a little Greek. Not very Roman with the eye, but I could be wrong. It's also missing his foot and potentially his left arm. Can't really see it too well. While his buddy down the spike has an axe in his head, which can't be very fun. So once again, we release our spy. recruit a new one, and there we go. So Fog of War is off. Just how you get this image. That shows you all the different factions that are existing right now. You may recall on my current game through, we pretty much have these three. We've taken these three provinces as well. We've taken pretty much all down here and everything. We have these Voi and the Zuquani as large factions up here, and the Arverni, at least in southern France, as far as we can see. You can see down here, Carthage, a little bit fractured with the Massili there, while the Egyptians pretty much, the Ptolemy, pretty much in their historical place. They should have decent conflict with the Seleucids. The Seleucids, again, they are large and powerful, and a lot of these guys over here in the far Middle East, I suppose, they're satrapies, and they will have a little rebellion at some point, if I recall. There's the Galati, the Celts in the middle of Turkey. As you can see, they're completely landlocked. Music is great. So we'll take a look real quick at the Galati. See, they don't start off very big. They are very Celtic, while their neighbors are very Arabic. You can see quite a culture clash, which I think makes playing them a little bit trickier. The Pergamons and the Nicomedes are much more Hellenic. If we go up here, here's the Iceni, so pretty much the same as the Galatae. There's even a little group of Irish over there. The Spanish, the Iberians are also a little bit different, but quite similar to the Celts. These look like some pretty Roman-looking units there. What section is this? Arvashi, maybe? Maybe they could be fun to play at some point. Of course, Carthage, as you would expect, has elephants. I mean, Carthage doesn't have elephants. It's not really Carthage, is it? So those are the, and you can also see when we select these units, the updated icons, the Bulldog-esque ones. So these are trade routes. The white one is a trade going to the Syracuse. As you can see, I'm not making any money off of that, but they are. Well, the yellow one is going both ways, I believe, showing me my trade, my goods, and everything. Also, because the trade route to Apollina follows the same path, it shows me what they're making. As we can see here, since we have the war turned up, we can see the Myceli are making money by exporting word to Carthage, going quite a ways. And this will increase, but they generally will kind of, leech off cities with ports and join the same general route, just like Athens to Egypt here. They're both making money, though Athens, I'm not sure how Athens is making any money, but they're certainly receiving a lot of imports from the Egyptians. So some things you may have noticed during gameplay are these little icons next to some of these cities, like fish and marble. The little stars are representative of capitals of the faction. Believe that's olive oil and wine, copper, lead, and up here these ones are slaves with the shackles. Some grain. We know there's copper and wood. Copper down there and wood up here, lumber. There should be gold. As you can see, some gold up here. More lead. More lumber in the Germanic region. More lumber there. More glassware. There's some furs. I knew there were furs. I think that's all. And there's war horses. So there are war horses. Which is, if you guys remember, I was questioning how I was getting horse upgrades over here. And I think there's war horses there. That's just not, for some reason, displayed on the map. I'm surprised there's no gold in Spain. It looks like iron as well. So those are the resource icons. This strategic map shows them as well. Shows you who controls each city. What else? We got the water, we got that. So the building infrastructure is also different. There's more variety. I don't think any of these cities I currently own will show them. So here's one. So I have a Roman hamlet, which is a pretty basic city, but I can choose what I turn it into. So you can see each one on the left-hand side has certain effects. You could go market, civil, or farming. I believe it's the civil takes you down a military path. Like I said, I'm not 100% familiar. While as we've seen, you can pick various different roles for your other buildings once you have the technology. So it would, if you made this hamlet, for instance, let's say it was a market one, you would probably want to build the harbor, as that is more of the trade port. The other ones are like a farming port, and the other one is, I believe it gets you along the military side of things. Technology. I apologize for you. I spent a long day. It's all locked, but each C1, 2, and 3. Once you research all of them in one, you get the bonus it tells you about here. So we do have management, tactics, and siege craft for our military line of technology. Well, on our civil, we have the economy, philosophy, and construction, which all unlock various new buildings with new effects, bonuses, negatives. Not everything is good. Sometimes you have to take a hit. So the food supply, when you click here, shows you how much food you're making and the supply consumption. It tells you the season, what your base production is, which would fluctuate in the winter, or the supply production would fluctuate in the winter, for instance. Shows you what you're consuming and how fertile the area is. So you need to be able to feed your armies as you build them. And in our playthrough as Rome, you've seen I've been building different farming buildings, some that increase the amount of food, some that increase the supply range. And that's all to try and keep my armies well fed and fully stocked. We did see that when we took Ieda and even Dominium, that because of those enemy armies who basically have to live off the land, those regions weren't producing enough food to support those armies. So even though I was in home territory, my armies were taking attrition because I couldn't feed everybody. I think that may wrap this video up. I'm sure there are many things I'm forgetting. I believe in our version of the game, Rome has a garrison of 20. You can see right now it's only got a garrison of 12, and that's because it's still only a small city. When I expand the city, it will increase the garrison size as well. So you know that when you come to a big city like Athens, which we also took, you can see that Athens is only at 10 at this stage, but it will get bigger. It is also quite small. I don't even really know, maybe Alexandria. No, it's still small as well. look like Carthage. You can see Carthage has its, what I would assume is his historical name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm assuming that's correct and not a spelling error. That's quite the name. So yeah, that about covers it. As you can see, there's a little rainstorm going on over here from these clouds. So one would imagine a battle in this region may be a little bit wet, which affects bows, makes them less effective, and you can't use fire arrows. I'm not sure if ballista can use their flaming shot, but it's possible, I think. I don't really know. So, if you guys have any questions, I guess the best thing to do would be to ask me in the forum, and I can try and explain as best I can. So I'll end this video here, and I'm 50-50 on playing tonight. I'm not pretty tired. It's surprisingly it's Thursday night, and it's been a very long week again. So hopefully you guys can offer me some more feedback, and then I can answer some of your questions for you about the mod. I'll also at some point be perhaps considering using those other mods I was showing you that I'm not using right now to do another playthrough. But instead of playing as Rome, I may, come up with 4 or 5 factions that I would be interested in playing, and then having you guys decide which one you would rather see me play. And there'll probably be a Greek faction, some sort of Gaelic faction, and probably at least some sort of African faction, a little more variety other than Rome. I mean, who doesn't want to play as Rome? Romans are pretty badass, especially when they're all decked out. So I'll catch you guys in a bit.